Hello, hello. We have some very interesting information. Give people a few minutes to get comfortable. We're doing some live monitoring right now, but there's also some very important news from Iran. And then we'll see how things go. We just missed a few attacks in Beirut, and there's been several volleys going into Israel. And apparently some of the biggest attacks of the day have just recently happened. Well, maybe the biggest attacks of the war, to be honest, from Iran. The U.S. is also saying they're going to drastically ramp things up. So I'll give people a few minutes to get in here. Yeah, I think what I'm going to be doing here with this stuff is I might move all of this like live war stuff and all this coverage over to my other channel completely and leave my TriggerSmart channel for interviews and Charlie Kirk and that kind of stuff. We'll see. I'll figure it out in the next couple of days and decide how I'm going to do it. But I'll make an announcement if I'm going to move this stuff over there. The algorithm does not like mixing different content types. Don't forget to hit that like. Welcome to the live stream. I'll be covering updates for the war and specifically the Iranian war with Israel. And we'll do some live monitoring, but there is one very important update that I think not everyone has seen yet. And if you want to support in other ways, you can always become a channel member. There are links in the description for merch and affiliate products as well. And of course, you can always donate or do a super chat. And thanks to all those that serve in the military or have family that serve. If you hear sirens, that is Israel. Like I said, there's a lot going on right now. I don't hear sirens in the cams yet, so we'll let that go for a little bit. All right, so I'll go ahead and do this quick updates here. Yeah, I see a lot of people talking about the drones would take days to get here, but that's not quite what's going on. All right, so we'll just go and get into this. So Justin, the FBI warns that California police departments and basically anyone else, any other law enforcement, government agencies, that Iran may retaliate against the U.S. by launching offensive drones towards the west coast of the U.S. This has been shown in many different places, but there's also an article, and I'll show you the original source of this. What you can see here, these are the Shahed-style drones. I did some research on them as well. But it says the FBI warns Iran that they're aspired to attack California with drones. And how far-fetched is this? Well, if you consider the fact that they don't have to launch the drones from Iran, right? That's the big thing. Remember all the drones that we had in New Jersey a few years back? And we had mystery drones all over the place that people said were ours. Well, were they? I mean, we know that they have the, or had, I should say, supposedly got destroyed, but they had the drone aircraft carrier, and that got taken out. But if they have something similar to that out off the coast, they could launch from that. They could have smuggled these in easily. We had open borders for at least 4 years, and then they can launch them from Mexico, right? So it's not that it's impossible for this to happen, but the FBI warned police departments in California in recent days that Iran could retaliate for American attacks launching drones. We recently acquired information that as of February 2026, Iran allegedly aspired to conduct a surprise attack using unmanned aerial vehicles from an unidentified vessel off the west coast of the United States homeland. And remember, they do have a vessel that does that. At least they had one. I don't know if they have multiple. Specifically against unspecified targets in California in the event that the U.S. conducted strikes against Iran. And obviously, we are conducting strikes. We have no additional information on the timing, method, target, or perpetrators of this alleged attack. So Could this be like a false flag type event where they're just trying to get people scared? Yeah, some of you guys are saying, like, is this fear mongering? It could be, right? It legitimately could just be a tactic to get more people on board with the war and distract from, like, the girls' school, right, for example, and that kind of stuff that's going on. But with something like this, considering they have already attacked all the other Gulf states and countries, right? They've already hit, Oman, Saudi Arabia. Who else did they hit? Kuwait, Bahrain. They've already hit a lot of different people. Obviously, they said that there were U.S. targets there, but if they can hit them, they're not just hitting Israel, who's attacking them. It's not outside the realm of imagination that they might attack the U.S. directly, right? That would be their ultimate revenge. The warning came as Trump administration launched its ongoing assault against the Islamic Republic. They've been retaliating with drones against the Mideast. Spokeswoman for the FBI office in LA declined to comment. So they put this statement out, and then they declined to talk about it further. But it does seem a lot of sources, a lot of analysts have looked into this, and so far it looks to be a credible threat, right? Whatever that means. More incoming. Let's see. That's incoming drones. That is up towards, that's northern Israel, probably from Lebanon. Yeah, looks like that's coming in from Lebanon. All right, let me mute this. If we see anything coming on cams, then we'll switch. But I'll mute them so you guys don't have to hear them the whole time. Just know that they're going on. Beirut's already been hit, and Israel has had some incoming, but they've all gotten intercepted. All right. Someone says, I live in California, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, most likely if they were to hit something, there's a 99% chance it's going to be military, right? Hopefully, right? You would think that they wouldn't directly go for civilians, but you never know. Hey, Marty, how's it going? Thanks for all the mods who showed up. The White House did not immediately respond. We saw that U.S. intelligence officials have also grown concerned in recent months about the expanding use of drones by Mexican cartels and the chance the technology could be used to attack Americans. So that's a whole nother piece of this that a lot of people haven't considered. So it doesn't have to be Iran directly who attacks us. It could be Iran attacking us through Mexican proxies, right? So that is something we definitely are going to have to worry about. I'm trying to see if there's anything else interesting in this that's important. Looks like they're already working on it. The governor's office of emergency is working with state, local, and federal security to protect. So anyone that's in California, don't freak out right now. But it looks like they are trying to put some things in place. Obviously, they're not going to have anti-drone technology in place in California because they weren't expecting a war there. So if they do attack, it's not going to be good. But the chances of attack is probably not super high at the moment. We know Iran has extensive presence in Mexico and South America. They have relationships. They have the drones, and now they have the incentive to conduct attacks. So is this a case where they're just more like, hey, this could happen? It's more likely to happen right now? It could be. But they're saying there's a credible threat. The FBI is smart for putting this warning out so people can better prepare. So that's really what this is all about. And they talk about a bunch of other stuff, but I wanted to see what is the chance, what are the numbers, right? How far can these drones go? This is assuming that they use Iranian drones. So the Shahed 136, this is one of the more common ones that's seen. It can go up to 1,500 miles. And a 30 to 50 kilogram explosive. We've seen these take out everything across the board. We've seen them take out tanks, planes. They've hit a lot of the like oil fields and stuff like that. So weapons depots. So they're pretty powerful. This one can do 6 to 12 hours. So let's see, actually, how far is it from Mexico? Let's see. Did it say how many miles per hour it can go? 115. So at 115 miles an hour from Mexico, how long to California? And this is probably obviously Southern California. It says, okay, so here's another thing. This is good to know. There are some that go further than this. I just want to make sure you know that. But based on the numbers, it says at the speed it goes, 115 miles per hour, top speed. We're looking at 14 hours to go from Mexico to California. So that would be like mid to mid. If you're talking about to cross the border, an hour or less. But if you're talking about anywhere where there's any people, it's going to be a little bit longer. But now they have this one too. This is the long range variant, Shahed 238. It says the range is similar, right? So you're still looking at probably 5 to 6 hours, something like that. But it says this one is a lot faster, the faster speed, and harder to intercept. So can they technically hit California from Mexico? Yes. Could they hit California if they had a ship or something off the coast? Yes. But based on everything we've seen, they haven't spotted a ship and nothing's been launched yet. So I don't want people to like panic about this, but I want to make sure that everyone knew about this because it's important to know what's going on. And when you're in this kind of like warlike state, anything can happen. So I just wanted to share that really quick. And then let me grab my other updates here. I did do a video this morning that had a lot of updates in it, so I don't want to be repetitive. So if you haven't seen that yet, then definitely go check that out afterwards. But let me get into some of these more recent updates. So senior Iranian military officials, if Washington makes a strategic mistake, another strait will be placed in a situation similar to the Strait of Hormuz. So they're trying to cut off trade and affect the economy as much as possible to irritate as many people as possible to where other countries start saying like, U.S., you got to stop, right? So they want to turn everyone against the U.S., basically, if they haven't already. A Chinese-owned cargo ship attempted to run the Strait of Hormuz. It made a complete U-turn. You can see it here. This Helian journey turned back around because a ship got struck there. And we're going to see a little bit of information here in a minute that talks about, actually, I think it shows an image of how it looks there. And supposedly it's not AI, supposedly. And this is the defense minister. He basically said that this is going to go indefinitely. And I don't know if everyone's heard this for basically both sides. Iran saying we can go indefinitely, and we're probably going to go indefinitely. And then you have Israel saying we can go indefinitely as well. So the U.S. is basically like Trump is saying, I want to tap out. I'm done, right? Like there's some objectives they want to hit, but he's basically saying he doesn't want to have anything to do with it at this point, and he's looking for an off-ramp. And then you have the other two involved saying they can go forever. So that should be interesting. These are some interceptors in Haifa going after some missiles that were incoming. It seems as though Iran has switched heavily from missiles to drones at this point. They said they still have a lot of missiles left, like 2,000 something, supposedly. But they also have to be able to launch those, right? And it sounds like a lot of the launchers, at least on the surface, have been taken out. And then this is a bunch of drones that are flying over. This one specifically is supposedly it's like Tehran getting hit by Israeli and U.S. drones. And as you saw, our drones are very similar to the Shahed drone from Iran. It's like we took their Shahed and we basically copied it and made our own version of it. This is the video that everyone's showing that is the biggest attack that's happened on Israel in a while from Iran. But a lot of people they're fighting between saying like, is this from Lebanon and these are rockets? Or is this from, or are these missiles that are coming from Iran? So the speed they're going, most of them don't seem like missiles, but I'm not 100%. But you can see that's a much bigger volley than we've been seeing lately. So I think they're starting to ramp up attacks as they get more irritated with what's going on. And then missile delivery systems are being removed from the B-1 Lancers at Fairford. And they're going to put JDAMs in. So those huge, they call it the mother of all bombs. But that JDAM is going to cause some major, major damage. And someone said they put this, they positioned them on purpose so the news could see it. It's supposed to be like a big propaganda thing. But, hey, Kentucky girl, How's it going? I see you there. Let's see. We saw that one already. This was just like a radio exchange between Israeli and American pilots, showing that they're working very well together. One says, "It's an honor for us to fight alongside you. You're doing a great job." And then the American pilot says, "Thank you very much. Likewise, gentlemen, stay safe out there. Strike hard. See you." So it's just showing that they're getting along, right? We did see that threat. We saw that threat. All right. This is talking about boots on the ground again, right? And this is something that everyone is 100% against in the U.S. Obviously, we don't want our citizens, our soldiers, brothers and sisters, parents, and that kind of stuff, our kids, sent out there to die for this reason. So this is, someone says the bomb's too big. Yep. But so this is a quick like little interview thing. It's Senator Blumenthal. He's talking about basically how irritated he is about sending troops on the ground. Let's see. Are you guys saying no sound? All right, let me see. Why would you have no sound? I just flip back and forth between my monitoring versus recording setup. And it's the first time I've done that. So let me double check one thing. Stand by. Yeah, there should be no reason why you don't have sound. Someone says back on. Someone says no sound. Okay. It's working now. Okay. And some say still no sound. All right. In chat, if it's working, put a 5x5. If it's not working, then put no. All right. I see no sound. Okay. So this is me pulling a Baron, pulling an Ian. That's what this is. I don't know why you can't hear it. Everything I'm looking at says 100% you should be able to. So I will look into that separately on my own after this. Yeah, we'll move on. So he's basically saying in his time in Senate, he's angry because we're heading down the path of seeing U.S. troops going to Iran on the ground. So that is a major, major, major issue and a major concern for a lot of people. And even people like Barron, he's saying that he doesn't want to have his kids sent to do this kind of stuff. It's terrible. So hopefully it never gets to that point, but that's probably coming down the pipe. And then we have the Iranian girls soccer team. And apparently, let me get rid of this loud sound here. Okay. The soccer team. Some of the Iranian football players are at the Hyatt Place Hotel in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. There are also some in Australia, but reportedly they're guarded by the regime, and others are in separate hotels. But basically what's happened is you're seeing that there's some guys that are ushering the women around and traveling with them and basically like forcing them to go back home. And a lot of people are scared because they don't know if those women are safe back home because they didn't stand for their like Muslim or whatever it is national anthem when they were playing soccer. So let's see. How does the draft work? What are the age cutoffs? Well, let's look. And there's a difference between a draft and regular conscription too. Let's see. The minimum age to join the military is 17 or 18 without parental consent. It looks like the maximum age is generally ranging from 28 to 42, depending on which branch. And it looks like 18 to 25 is kind of like their sweet spot. That's what they really like. But there are maximum ages. So typically it's like 35 to 40 is kind of like pushing it. Like they don't really want you there past that. But if they do conscription, which is like forced, it's like a forced draft basically for everyone, they can do whatever age they want. And we've seen that in like Ukraine and Russia. So you could be 60 years old and get called in. It doesn't matter to them. As of right. Yeah, so I don't hear any sirens in Israel. But yeah, to answer your question, basically 18 to 25 is the typical age for a draft. So basically freshly an adult up to like 25 when you're still technically healthy and energetic and moldable. That's what they want, right? All right, let me mute these alarms. Here we go. But as far as updates go, basically some of these soccer players are safe and they're in Australia and they're going to just stay there. Like they're letting them just live there now. And then you have other ones that got away in Malaysia, I guess, like 3 or 4 of them. And then the rest are heading back to Iran. So we don't know what's going to happen to them. A lot of people fear that they're going to possibly be put to death or something there. And then this is just more destruction, more naval vessels getting hit in the Strait of Hormuz. These are Iranian, of course. But, I mean, if you start adding these up, like $1 million, $4 million per hit, and see all the ones that are flying around, this is a very expensive war. And then we saw this big volley. This is one of those munitions that's dispersing, like a cluster munition. And there are some, there's some international rules around that kind of stuff. Talking about cluster munitions and citizens, like everyday citizens. Oh, hold up. We have some. Did it go up and down that quick? Let me know if you guys can hear. Let me know if you guys can hear the alarms and the audio from the cams. You guys should be able to hear just like basic wind and noises and stuff like that. Can you guys hear like the cars and the wind and all that stuff? Okay, it looks like someone said yeah. Okay, cool. Someone asked about mines. So they were starting to try to place mines. And as far as I've heard and seen everywhere, they blew those boats up that were trying to place the mines. So some people are saying, no, so anyone that can't hear anything, do a refresh. It looks like it's like 50-50. So if you can't hear anything, do a refresh. Some people are saying yes to the alarms and no to the cams and stuff. Here's another explosion that happened. All right, people are saying alarms only. Yeah, I don't know what's different from previous, so I don't have time to deal with that right now. So I'll do it later, and I'll figure it out for next time. Yeah, Trump is basically saying that he can't declare victory without killing Khamenei's son. The reporter said, "Can you declare victory in this war if the supreme leader remains the Ayatollah's son?" And he says, "I don't want to comment on that." So that tells me that basically he's going to try and take him out. And he's already been hit. He's already been injured. I had heard reports that he was in a coma, but apparently that's not true. So he seems like he is still leading. Let's see. Hey, Blindly Gab. Nice to see you. I see everyone saying basically that there's no sound even after refresh. So, yeah, I'll have to dig in and see, like you guys couldn't see sound from the explosion or hear sound from the explosion. So what I'll do is I will, after this stream, I'll go back in and I'll dig into why the audio is not routed correctly. I use like 10 layers of audio. All right, let's see where this one's at. This is... Looks like rockets. Nope, these are drones. Oh, wow. So I wish I could show you guys this. Basically, all of Israel, except like the bottom 6th and the top 6th, is completely lit up. incoming drones. I don't hear anything. Oh, wait, hold up. Yeah, I don't hear anything on the cams right now. I'm surprised we don't. There's been a ton of alarms that have gone off. Okay, so you guys can hear those alarms, but you're not able to hear the other audio. Let me check one thing. I'm just waiting to see if those alarms go off in Israel. All right. Someone's saying, why California, not Florida? There have been, actually, let's go to that real quick. Let's go look at flight radar. So over here, there have been planes, and in fact, there's a, wow, okay. So there's a ton of activity over here going on around the flight radar. Looks like we have a bunch of different stealthy type little aircraft over here. I'm assuming these are like Beach and other ones. Yeah, so these are like ISR planes. So they're doing a lot of recon and stuff right now, kind of all over the place. Yeah, these are all government planes, government and military. We have some Pegasus refuelers. We have Poseidons over here going over the water, looking for those nuclear subs and stuff. So there's a lot of activity on Florida. So even though this isn't specifically just for Florida, Jamie, you're saying that a lot of people were having sound issues. Let's see, having bots come in. Interesting. Thanks for letting me know. So it looks like there's a lot of helicopters out too. But I mean, it seems like they're on very high alert just based on this. You can see there's several different ISR planes. We have a lot of planes circling, doing recon and that kind of stuff. So I think Florida's certainly on high alert. And now I think, and it already was. And now I think in addition to that, you can see the whole coast. The whole coast down here is pretty on pretty high alert. And then we have Texas is also on very high alert. And then coming over here, not as much northern, but it looks like Central and Southern California have quite a bit of activity going on as well. Looks like we have some transport, some ISR, some helicopters. Trying to see, are there any Poseidon? Do we have anything looking for submarines over here? Does not look like it, just this one. And it's going over land. Now, someone mentioned the other day that these planes, obviously, they look for nuclear signature. I say obviously, but they look for a nuclear signature, and that's what they're looking for nuclear subs, but they could also be used for any nuclear signature. So this one has been circling around on land. So it makes you wonder, like, are they looking for like a dirty bomb or something? I don't know. I mean, that's completely just speculation. But coming from over here and circling on land is not something I've typically seen with these kind of planes. But as you can see, they're on high alert on both coasts. They're on high alert in the Gulf Coast or the Gulf of America, right? So a lot going on. And then over here, let's see, do we have any Poseidons on this side? We had a few the other day off the west coast of Israel looking for subs. Yeah, the only one I see is down here by Yemen. And it doesn't even have... Let's just turn this transponder back on. So you can't even see where that one's been. But as you can see, there's a lot of refuelers going on, a lot of cargo planes, still a lot of activity overall. We have recon going on. A lot of stuff being moved back and forth. There's still some drones off the east coast of Cyprus. And it seems like they're mostly doing either looking for incoming, possibly. Anything that might be incoming from Lebanon, which has happened before. And then we know that there's supposed to be a lot of forces from Europe that are supposed to help reinforce Cyprus. And a couple aircraft carriers. So we're actually up to 5 aircraft carriers now. 3 from the U.S. and 2 from other nations. So that is very interesting. Think about how much force that is. How many big forces? Let's see. What's happening in California? California has been, I don't want to say threatened officially, but the CIA and FBI, mostly FBI, are saying that Iran is possibly threatening to, or maybe capable of, attacking California as part of this war. And that's mostly around the fact that they think it might be like via proxies from Mexico. So they could launch these Shahed drones from Mexico. They have about 5 or 6 hours flight time, and they could go into California, or really any other state down there, right? Any southern state, technically. So I don't know why California specifically. You know, the more I think about that, the stranger it is. So say if you have a ship, we have a Hercules doing transport, but say you have an Iranian ship out here, I would assume it would be spotted, you know, from Hawaii and from satellites and that kind of stuff. But if it didn't, so you got close enough, then it could hit California, Oregon, Washington, right? But then also, if it's coming from Mexico, it can hit any of these states down here: Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Mississippi. I mean, they can launch to any of these. So why is this warning specifically just against California? Kind of strange. Makes you wonder. Yeah, I don't think it came directly from Patel anyway. From Kash Patel. Let's see. All right. So yeah, so going through here, Strait of Hormuz, there have been attacks in there. There's been ships that have gone and turned around. Some were trying to make a run for it. They would turn off their transponder and just try like hurry up and rush through. And if they had any ties to the U.S. or Israel or anyone that we're associated with, then they would stop them or missile, you know, bomb them or hit them with a drone or something. So, have I seen the possibility that Netanyahu was almost killed a week ago? He hasn't been seen. He's been targeted throughout his entire life and the entire time he's been in charge. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone targeted him, but he's never been hit so far as I know. That's pretty common for all these leaders, like Putin. I think he said like 48 different, like 48 different attempts on his life. Let's see. Can I provide more detail on near Tampa, Pinellas City? Yep, give me just one moment. Earlier, before we started the stream, these were all, or most of these were significantly higher, meaning they were heads down busy. We have a little bit of elevation here near Dubai on radiation. Is this a plant? Interesting. Why would there be heightened radiation at a resort? Well, it doesn't mean it's at the resort. That means it's sensing it at the resort. Interesting. So there's increased radiation in Dubai right now from the radiation sensor. I'm not sure exactly what that means at this point. We haven't seen any elevated radiation in that whole region this whole time. Lots of fires. No earthquakes in that region. But as far as, let's see. Yeah, I don't know if Netanyahu ever went to Germany at all, to be honest, based on the stuff that I've heard. As far as Tampa goes, there's not a lot of activity over here. I think they're mostly worried about the over by Mar-a-Lago, obviously, because that's where Trump lives. But at this point, there's not a lot going on that side of things. Seems to be mostly on the East Coast, like up here near Jacksonville. As far as reconnaissance goes, right? Obviously, something, if it was going to happen, could happen technically anywhere. But in that area, I don't see anything. There's nothing like concerning. There's not like drones circling the area or ships looking for, subs or anything off the coast. So not a big deal right now. I wouldn't worry about it. And we have some refuelers up. They've been doing multiple volleys. Both sides, Iran and Israel and the U.S., are all saying that they're going to ramp up attacks. Before Iran was saying that they were going to only attack here and there, but it sounds like they're going to attack continuously now. I don't know if they can. I don't know if they have the resources for that. Yes, I am using Flight Radar 24, and it is free. I pay for a version that has a little bit more functionality, but just go to flightradar24.com, and you can look at stuff as well. And if you're nerdy enough, you can go on X, and a lot of people share stuff around like, hey, did you see flight? Fill in the blank, and is that a Cessna, whatever, right? So if you really want to get into it, you can. Let's see. You got a notification that Trump's going live. Let's see. Let's see if he has anything scheduled. Let's see. Looks like something about Kentucky. Let's see. Where's that White House schedule? It looks like they're going to be going live here shortly. Let me see. But that's assuming. Can you even hear it? I don't know if you'll. Let me play something else and see if you can hear it. There's no reason why the sound shouldn't be working exactly as it was on all the previous streams that we've done. Yeah, one. So I don't know what is going on with this specifically. That's good. I see that. That's all heading out. All the audio looks like it should be good. Let's do a quick test. Let's do something without music. They're all going to have music, aren't they? Can you hear her talking and stuff? And walking? Can you hear this woman? All right. Yeah, I have no idea. But like, I'm an audio engineer, and I couldn't even tell you why the sound's not working there. So, unfortunately, that's a big part of the stream is sound. So I don't think that's going to work. So I may have to end the stream early. But for anyone who is actually looking to watch this, if you go to this link, whitehouse.gov, or obviously any of the news stations or any of the other YouTubers, then they can, you'll be able to catch this White House live with Trump. It says he's doing it just says remarks. It doesn't say what specifically he's doing. Something did say something about Massey. So maybe he's talking about a political thing. And there's supposed to be some announcement by Erica Kirk today in Alabama or something, Arkansas. Something that may be like a political thing possibly. But it could also be TPUSA in the high school, right? Yeah, that's what it is. I just found it. All right, that's not good. Governor Sir Huckabee Sanders wants every Arkansas high school to start Turning Point USA chapters. So that must have been the big announcement. So we know this happened already in Tennessee and Texas, and now they want to add Arkansas. So, but that's better than an announcement of running for president, right? So I'll take it. I would gladly take that. Interesting. All right. Yeah, I don't know what to do with the sound. I'll play with it here after this and get it figured out and test it on my own phone and everything and make sure everything's working before I go live again for this stuff. But yeah, just keep your head on a swivel. They're saying supposedly California might be up for an attack. The chance of that happening is probably pretty slim. But just in case it does, then, just be ready for that. And as far as the rest of the U.S., if they can hit California, then I would think they should be able to hit any southern state. Just because if they're launching from Mexico, that would make sense. But other than that, a lot of this is just a lot of small little volleys back and forth. They've already hit a bunch of the radars, like U.S. radars that are down in the Middle East, billion-dollar radars, multiple of them. And these are the ones that they use to actually target and that kind of stuff. So, definitely stand together, Psalm. Sleepers are definitely activating. So this is not an ideal situation. But all right. Yeah, I mean, the sound being off is basically killing the stream. So I can't play news. I can't play any, clips. I can't even play you Trump coming up here in a second. So I'm going to get that figured out. And then I may be live a little bit later. Definitely will do updates tomorrow. But I appreciate everyone being here. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your day. And if you want to support the channel, you can always look at the links and stuff down in the description. See you soon.